little bit more focused, maybe potentially on PvE or campaigns. Is that something that people would want essentially development time spent into? That's the way you got to look at it. You can't necessarily have these things and have your chocolate too.
I mean, it'd be almost like developing a whole nother game really at that point. And we saw that with R6 Extraction. I don't think that was probably the best model to have made it. Obviously, they saw success in Outbreak, which was the update back in Chimera, I think it was, like 2018, ages ago. Very successful. Game was very popular back then.
I actually played that.
Yeah, and it was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Have a couple of memories of that. Something like that again, maybe something more fully fledged, maybe, you know, something that harps back to old Rainbow Six games where it's, you know, 4-player PvE or 5-player PvE on like maps with maybe a bit of a story or something. I don't know. Is that something people want? I know personally, I would probably not care. I really don't care that much about it. I would probably like play it once and whatever. But I could see a large portion of the community, you know, that, especially the casuals and those that are like super keen into military games, looking for that. We've seen success from games like Ready or Not, or, you know, whatever it's called, like those, like, and SWAT and those kind of tac shooters. So
Yeah.
I think there's a market for it, maybe.
If you look at Overwatch 2 and the outcry,
That's how you don't do it.
more so based on the fact that people are upset that there are no of those PvE updates regarding, you know, what they promised. It probably does say that there could be an audience there for it. And maybe Siege could be the one that comes in and says, actually, well, if you're not going to do it, we might do it to some degree, and look to potentially still an audience there. So in terms of how far you go with that, do you go a full-fledged PvE update with RPG elements? Do you
another separate game attempt after the last one didn't really work? I don't know.
I don't know if you do Extraction again. It did okay. Like, I'm not saying that it did awful. From what I saw of it, it did okay, but probably not enough to warrant its own separate game.
Yeah, it was a game update.